months, NBC4 has been exposing conviction quotas and a push to prosecute by special investigators at Ohio's Bureau of Workers' Compensation.
And tonight, NBC4 lead investigator Dwayne Pullman is back after taking some tough questions to the BWC board. Dwayne?
That's right. Last night, we exposed a case where these two people, Michelle Skaggs and Fred Dybert, were sent to prison for a workers' comp crime that an appeals court says never happened. BWC bureaucrats are refusing to talk on camera about what we're uncovering. So we went to the BWC Board of Directors, the same board that was formed to watch over BWC after CoinGate, one of the biggest scandals in our state's history. Tonight, tough questions, few answers, and a surprising response about those quotas.
NBC4 exposed the quotas.
Do you or do you not have a quota system? Yes or no?
And now, a wrongful conviction.
So you are convinced that the quotas are the reason that you went to prison?
Yeah.
But at a monthly meeting less than 2 weeks ago, BWC Administrator Stephen Buehrer chose not to address any of what NBC4 uncovered. Instead, Buehrer spent time addressing other, more important issues.
I think we all can celebrate the impact the BWC has had on the overall improving the economy.
It was an ironic claim, considering his own agency had not only imprisoned, but drove Fred Dybert and Michelle Skaggs out of business.
Business is over.
Business
no
is
more
over.
roofing.
I will not put myself in that state ever again.
Buehrer told the BWC board nothing about the cases of Dybert and Skaggs and their former business, Triple Star Roofing. BWC special investigators relentlessly pursued the couple for fraud, a fraud that an appeals court ruled never happened. Dybert and Skaggs' convictions were tossed out, and they were released from prison at the end of December, but only after they had served a year and a half behind bars. In its ruling, the appeals court stated the evidence was gravely insufficient and that the conviction was unsupported and not based upon the facts.
Is the board aware of the issues with the Triple Star Roofing and the fact that the court vacated the decision to imprison two people?
I'm not aware of that.
After the meeting, Chan Cochran, who heads the governance committee, told me he was not only not aware of that case, he was unaware of conviction quotas NBC4 uncovered.
I mean, does it concern you? I don't want to. I'm just trying to talk to you as a human being.
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I have no basis
Well, you've had
to be concerned or
about
not to be concerned.
Have you not had discussions?
No.
The board didn't have any discussion about the issue of quotas? That has never come before the board?
Not that I'm aware of.
But at a meeting in November, another board member, Dewey Stokes, told us BWC's board had discussed quotas.
The board discussed those things, but
after this meeting, Stokes, a former Columbus police officer and former national president of the Fraternal Order of Police, made it clear what he thinks about investigative quotas.
you know how I feel about quotas.
Right.
You don't have quotas,
it's just wrong for an investigative agency, correct?
You don't have quotas. You have investigations, and the investigations lead you to the outcome, factual outcomes.
They're called goals, but they're clear quotas.
No matter how you camouflage an issue, quotas are not good. And that's my opinion, and it doesn't deal necessarily with BWC. It's quotas in my previous life.
Right. While Stokes admits the board knows about those quotas, the board and BWC have done nothing to stop them.
You don't have quotas.
Okay, so why are we not discussing this as a board?
Well, I don't know if there's not been a presentation prepared for the board to present to the board over this issue.
Instead, the board defers questions about quotas and just about everything else, including the wrongful convictions we uncovered, to Stephen Buehrer, an administrator who's supposed to answer to the board.
I mean, this was the BWC that did this. They sent people, two of them, to prison.
Well, I'm sure that Steve is looking at that. I mean, there's no way. He's too competent to not be looking at those issues.
But doesn't it concern you that it's not being presented in a board fashion?
Yeah, I'm sorry. If you submit any questions you have to me in writing, I will be happy to respond to.
And we did send questions in writing, and we just got a response as to why the administrator chose not to inform his board about that big case that tossed out BWC's conviction of Dibert and Skaggs. BWC reminding us the administrator's reports are general and that, quote, the administrator's update to the board did not include an update after the Triple Star roofing case was vacated, just as he gave no update when a jury originally found both Dibert and Skaggs guilty of workers' compensation fraud. Tomorrow, we focus on the head of BWC's special investigations. At the center of this push to prosecute, for years she's claimed she has a college degree in criminal justice. NBC4 investigated and found something else. Our NBC4 investigation push to prosecute continues tomorrow on NBC4 at 6. I'm Dwayne Pullman. I'll see you then.
Thank you, Dwayne. NBC4 dedicated to investigating fraud, waste, and abuse. You can call our team at 844-TIP-NBC4. That's 844-847-6224, or send an email to investigate@NBC4i.com.